Let's discuss the respiratory system today. The purpose of your respiratory system is to provide the body with a fresh supply of oxygen for cellular respiration and to remove the waste product carbon dioxide. So, your respiratory system is responsible for your breathing. You have some major organs and their functions for your respiratory system. Your nose, which is the internal entry and exit point for air. Your mouth is also considered to be part of your respiratory system. Your pharynx serves as a passageway for both air and food at the back of your throat. Your larynx is also known as your voice box. Your trachea or windpipe is what connects your pharynx to your lungs. And there's a piece of skin called the epiglottis that covers the trachea when you swallow, which prevents food from entering. You then have the bronchi, which are two large passageways that leads from the trachea to your lungs. Getting smaller, you have tiny air sacs called alveoli, and they look kind of like grapes. They're in clusters. And then the diaphragm is the muscle that causes you to breathe. And hiccups are involuntary contractions of the diaphragm. So fun facts about the respiratory system. You can distinguish between approximately 1 trillion different scents. You have about 1,500 miles of airways, and that's enough to reach from Charlotte to New Mexico. And the hair in your nose helps to clean and warm the air that you breathe. Here is a diagram of your respiratory system. And now we're going to watch a brain pop about the respiratory system.
Can't do it. Dear Tim and Moby, why do we breathe? From Min. Hey, you're talking about the respiratory system. We have to breathe to live, but I bet most people don't know exactly why. Your body can store up a lot of the nutrients it needs, but it can't store the one thing that you need all the time. An invisible gas called oxygen. Inside your body, oxygen allows all your cells to make energy so they can function properly. Since you can't store it, your body takes it in all the time in a process called breathing. Breathing is the main function of the respiratory system, which, in complex animals, is responsible for carrying air to the lungs. Here's how it works in humans. Everyone has 2 lungs in their chest. Your lungs are surrounded by your rib cage, and they rest on a dome-shaped muscle called the diaphragm. Every time you take a breath, the diaphragm contracts and moves downward, and your rib cage expands. This causes a drop in air pressure inside your lungs, which the higher pressure air from outside rushes in to equalize. When you inhale, air enters your body through your nose or your mouth. It travels down the trachea or windpipe to your lungs. Inside the lungs, air moves into smaller and smaller passages called bronchial tubes. Eventually, the air spreads to the alveoli. The alveoli are tiny sacs surrounded by blood vessels called capillaries. Oxygen moves through the walls of the alveoli and capillaries and into the blood. Well, the alveoli and capillary walls are only like 1 cell thick, so it's pretty easy. Oh no, there's more. When your lungs take oxygen in, they send carbon dioxide out. Carbon dioxide is a harmful waste gas that you have to get rid of. It's made in your cells and travels through the blood into your heart, which pumps it back into capillaries around your alveoli. Your diaphragm relaxes and moves upward, which deflates your lungs and makes you exhale this used air. And so on. That's breathing. That's pretty close, Moby. Our lungs don't fly around the room or anything, but they do inflate and deflate, just like a balloon. I'd say breathing is pretty important. You want to do all you can to keep your lungs in good working order. Regular exercise helps keep your lungs in shape. And you should steer clear of things that are bad for your lungs, like smoking. Smoking damages your cilia, little hairs inside your bronchial tubes that help remove unwanted matter from the lungs. In the long term, smoking can give you lung cancer and emphysema, a disease that makes it difficult to breathe. Right, and you should avoid air pollution too. And toxic waste. And poisonous gas. I think they get the point.
Let's see what Chloe and the NERB say about how your lungs work.
Kids Health presents How the Body Works with Chloe and the NERB.
And then the gallbladder stands up and finishes my joke. I mean, the gall of that guy.
Hold that thought, NERB. What's this?
5th annual Bodylandia Lung Race. The duo that gets into and then out of the lungs first wins a prize. A prize? A prize, Chloe! Oh my dear heavens, a prize!
If the time on this poster is right, the race is about to start any minute. Yikes! We better get into our running outfits.
A NERB is always ready for a race.
Chloe's too.
To the racetrack.
Phew. Made it in the nick of time. They're about to start.
And they're off! The kidneys are in the lead, followed by the eyeballs and the ears. Chloe and the NERB are in dead last. Chloe, let's pick up the pace, shall we?
This isn't working. And I'm breathing really hard.
You're breathing hard because your body needs more oxygen. Oxygen is in the air we breathe. When you're breathing hard, your lungs can take in more oxygen, and your heart is beating faster to get that oxygen all around your body. In we go!
Do you know where we're going?
Of course, into the respiratory system, and more specifically, the lungs.
Ugh, this is gross, NERB. There are boogers everywhere.
Let's get out of here, Chloe. When you inhale, air comes into your nose or mouth, and then down your windpipe, also called the trachea. At the end of the trachea are two large tubes called the bronchi. They lead to two large organs responsible for breathing, called lungs. One bronchus goes to the left lung, and the other one to the right. The lungs inhale air with the help from your chest muscles and diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle under the lungs. As you breathe in, your diaphragm contracts and flattens out. This allows it to move down, so your lungs have more room to expand as they fill up with air.
So when you exhale, everything happens in reverse, and the air goes out the way it came in?
Exactly. Here we come!
This is the lungs? NERB, it's just another set of tubes.
The lungs have tons of these smaller and smaller sized tubes called bronchioles, which can be as small as the thickness of a hair. The end should be right after the next one. Here we come!
NERB, where are we?
The alveoli, fancy word. This is where the magic happens, where oxygen from the air we breathe gets absorbed into the blood. Alveoli are tiny air sacs at the end of each bronchiole. There are about 600 million alveoli in the lungs. Each has a mesh-like covering of very small blood vessels called capillaries. Oxygen travels into the blood through the alveoli into the tiny capillaries that surround them.
Fantastic!
Oh, right. We've got a race to win. But before we go, I should explain the process of exhaling. The air you breathe in is different than the air you breathe out. The most important gas in the air is oxygen. Every one of your body's cells needs oxygen to stay alive. Deep inside the lungs, your body takes oxygen from the air and delivers it to the bloodstream. Then your heart can pump oxygen-rich blood all around the body. Then the process operates in reverse, letting your body get rid of a gas called carbon dioxide, which is waste gas the body doesn't need. Carbon dioxide is carried by the bloodstream to the lungs. Then the lungs exhale it out of the body.
Nerb, we're falling further and further behind in the race.
No worries, I'll kick it into Nerb Hyperdrive.
We're doing it! We're winning!
Nerb now! We did it! We won! The crowd goes wild! Why is everyone so quiet?
Nerb, we won the race like 45 minutes ago.
Oh,